Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back, of course, to the Time Bomb channel, and I hope all is excellent in your part of the world. Watch review today of the Accurist Origin, and this is Ref 70020. First class watches here in the UK have lent this one into the channel for review. Do hit them up, let them know that you've come from the Time Bomb channel, because no doubt they will do their best to help you on price matching. So let's just zoom in a fraction. So Accurist is a British brand that I've not featured on the channel previously. Many of you will know of them, and one of our subscribers just pointed them out to me recently. So yeah, hence the reason for wanting to check them out, because his recommendation kind of piqued my curiosity again. Accurist have some, just while giving you an overview of this particular watch, Accurist have some serious horological firsts here in the UK, entertaining one in that they were the first sponsors of the first talking clock here in the UK, and then they provided a new atomic clock for the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. So yeah, they've been around since I think the 40s here in the UK. I don't usually focus on watch boxes, but this roll is kind of useful, practical, replaces the old socks in your suitcase. So again, something a little bit more practical and useful than your standard boxes. Let's just zoom in a fraction. Okay, so this is part of what they call their Origins range, and whilst perhaps the overall design is not necessarily groundbreaking, I think the dimensions and the finishing of it make it quite compelling for many wrists. It's then 41 mils across. 33 mils of that is the actual dial aperture, so you do get very nice clear visuals, nice wide open dial. It's about 52 mils towards the end of those integrated lugs, about 12 mils deep, and then it sits on 22 mil lugs in there again, so quite wide. It's got 100 meters worth of watery goodness, sapphire crystal up top, obviously is an automatic, and they retail for around £199 in the UK, but again, do ask first class watches for price matching. My wrist then 7¼ inch. I'm getting a lot of reflection. I'm wondering perhaps if there isn't that much AR on the underside of that sapphire. But yeah, the wrist print, integrated strap bracelets on these things, I think works really very well indeed. Let me just get that off wrist. So the dial design, again, is one that most of you are going to be very familiar with. You know, that sort of repetitive squares, again, adds a lot, some fun light play, despite all the reflection. There's a tinge of blue to that, so I imagine there is some AR on there, but potentially benefit from another coat. The hands and the hour markers obviously mimicking each other with their sort of baton-esque or batoning. And of course, then you do get that nice little lollipop on the bottom of the top of your seconds hand as it tricks around there. And again, nice minute track, hour markers, very shiny. Again, so yeah, huge amounts of light play off this one. You get an unmatched color, unmatched date wheel over at the 3. I think it looks okay that it's unmatched here, because again, it stands out nice and clear. You can really see that too on the date wheel. The lugs, as I mentioned before, sort of very nice, blocky, and they extend very well into that integrated bracelet, and I think they've done that very well indeed. You do then, obviously, at the bottom, you get, again, you can see what I'm doing through this camera today. A little bit confusing. 1 second. Yeah, that's better. I want to show you then. You do obviously get your butterfly down at the bottom, little signature on there, and to reel then your press plates, probably again in reflection of the price point on these. You do then obviously get quick release pullers on either side there, and I'm pretty sure that these swap out onto the leather straps that are designed for this range, also giving you a little bit of variety. And I have to say that the bracelet is very, very good. It's solid links all the way through here. The tolerances are pretty good. It's not a jingle monster in any way, shape or form. As I say, finishing on it as well, the brushing, etc., is pretty good for the price point. As I say, real standout for me on that one, because I've been looking at bracelets recently, Seiko, not mentioning any names, that haven't really been up to the price point. This one is pretty good. Open it up again, and you can see you get a nice cityscape etching there around that exhibition case back. And some of you may recognize the movement, and some of you will be surprised to see that it's a Seiko NH35. Yes, that trusty workhorse movement is really getting around of late. We're starting to see it in so many different watches. And as I say, it's not the most best looking, but again, I think I've had a bit of a change of perspective on these, in that I think if they're putting these open case backs onto watches, and it brings younger people interest in the movements inside their watches, then I think it's a positive thing. There is lume, and it pops quite well. It's quite clean and seems fairly well and fairly evenly applied. The only thing that I didn't do is test it through the night to see how it stands up. There is a distinct lack of sunshine in Blighty this week, but there's a glimmer of light for you to see how it sits on wrist. And the other thing that I like about it being all steel, it's got some really nice positive heft to it. The brand is one that I grew up with here in the UK, and their early advertising featuring John Cleese may be familiar to some of you. And I think of late the brand has gone through a series of sort of revamps or relaunches, etc. And they've got their four pillars, as they call them: the classic watches, the aviation, the dive, and the origins. The dive watches to me aren't really doing it. I prefer something a little bit more divey. But the Origin series is my favourite, and especially this chrono, it just looks like a whole lot of fun. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with the finishing and tolerances and the overall quality on this one. It does look pretty impressive. I'm kind of pleased to see that they're balancing again quality with accessible price point, again, which has always kind of been their DNA. As always, those are just my thoughts. Looking forward to hearing yours, guys, down in the comments section below. Sorry, I didn't show you the crown, did I? Again, push-pull, as you would expect. As I say, it's an H35. You don't need me to tell you that it's going to stand up to a decent amount of usage. Winds nicely. As I say, impressive little piece, this one. Anyway, big thanks to the lovely people over at First Class Watches for the loan of this one, and to you guys for your time and your view, and we'll catch you all in the next watch vid. Cheers now.